Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Barber, and I am the president of the Atlanta Step Up Society. It's a recovery program for men that's suffering from substance abuse. This month, I'm going to do a series of lectures on powerlessness, which is going to lead us up to step two. I did step one. If you go to YouTube, you will see it. But I did step one. We're talking about the disease of addiction. Well, step two talks about came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Well, what I need to focus on is that power. What is the power? Where is the power coming from? And do I possess it? Is it in me? Do I have the ability as an ex-user and as an ex-drug addict to employ this power in my life? And I'm here to tell you that we do. We absolutely do. Every human being on the planet of Earth, and there's 7 billion people on this planet, and each of us have access to this power that's greater than us if we have an understanding of it. Well, before I get into the power, I want to take some time out in 15 minutes or so, and we're going to talk about fear. Fear separates us from this power. Fear is a birth that came about, and if you go to the scriptures, it comes about when Adam and Eve disobeyed God. Prior to Adam and Eve, what we had was a loving, good, God said everything He created was good. That's the environment that humans lived in. A totally good, merciful, graceful environment. At the moment of disobedience, you can search it back in scriptures if you want. At the moment of the separation, fear entered humanity. In the scriptures, it said God asked them where were they, and they said they were hiding. They were afraid of something. So let's talk about fear. Fear has some characteristics and is definitely a separation from love. We know that God is love. We have 100% knowledge and we believe that God is love. It's not about love. It's not around love. God is pure, uncut love. Well, fear is a separation from love. Fear separates us from love. And I want to go over some characteristics, and especially in my life. I'm going to talk about myself. Things that happened in my life to let me know that I was living a fearful life. And I have to back up a minute, and I want to talk about the two. We have love on this side, I'm going to make it simple, and we have fear on this side. Well, there's two worlds. The whole concept of God is in the human imagination. So what I have to do is understand that I have an imaginary life of love and an imaginary life of fear. So there's two concepts that I have to look at. Am I living in a world of fear, or am I living in a world of love? So what I need to do is understand which one am I choosing? Which lifestyle do I follow? And after I have a basic understanding what the two are, then I can separate and try to find a way to live what's best to suit me. Well, let's talk about fear. Since fear is a separation from the power of God, or a separation from God, the first thing that I used to do and still do, because no one's perfect at this, we're not perfect human beings, but we do have a mind that was given to us by God, and we do have the ability to have understanding. First thing I used to do was worry on any situation. Let's take my finances. If I had, say, $10,000 worth of bill that's going to come up in this month, what I would do is look at the financial situation and immediately jump into worry. I started living from a mindset of, I can't pay them bills. I'm not going to be able to do it. If I borrow from this person, then I'm going to have to owe them back. I tell you what I do, I just ignore the bills. I had this long list of things in my mind that would keep me operating in the world of fear. In the world of fear. Worry was one. I was always worried. I would get to situations and I find out that I become angry. I am always angry about something. And while I'm worrying about one thing, while I'm worrying about my finances, while I'm worrying about whether I can take care of my family, at the same time I'm worried about those bill collectors calling me, I start to carry on another aspect of fear, and it's anger. If anyone was to approach me and talk about, well, how was your day, or what's going on, or I hear anything about money, I become angry. I become an angry person. It doesn't take much for you to push my button. So here I am. I'm living in fear. I have this world that's unreal, and I want to tell you though, fear is unreal. It is not the truth. But what I did was, I had all these characteristics of fear that kept me in this world, and I made this illusion real. I made this world of fear become real in my life. Here's another one, remorse. Let's talk about remorse. Every time I would be remorseful, what I would do, I would sit around and be on a pity pot. I even pray. My prayers were built from remorse. Oh Lord Jesus, please. I don't feel good. I don't have the finances. I know my wife is going to leave me. I know I'm not going to be able to take care of my kids. What am I going to do? I start feeling very, very remorseful. Very, very remorseful. So that's another part of this world that I'm adding on to. Next thing you know, I have a full world, an unreal world that I operate in. I'm not even going to tell you about the criminal thinking. Criminal thinking. As soon as all this stuff starts piling up on me, I become frustrated. I start thinking about all the criminal activities that I could do. I probably could go over there. I know that such and such a person keeps money in their basement. I pretend and I go over there and I be Mr. Goody Goody, like I'm there for probably a good motive. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking how to get to that basement and get some of that money. So what I'm doing is I'm living in a world of fear. And I do it for so long that fear starts producing consequences. These does not have to be in no order, because there's no order in this world. It's a world that we make up in our mind. It's a world that we produce. The consequences of living in fear is that you're going to go to jail, you might get hurt, you're not going to pay the bills, you're going to have repossession, the car going to be repossessed, you're not going to be able to pay for your education, the bill collector is going to call you. There's a whole multitude, millions of little small events that take place that creates all these consequences in your life. And for an addict, our normal reaction in this world of fear is to turn around and run. We start running. I ran from responsibilities, I ran from education, I ran from the relationships, I ran from marriages. I just pick up and start running. I can't even think about the number of jobs that I had ran from that quit based on an improper thinking, based on the world of fear. So what we have is an unreal world that's in my mind. My biggest problem is only 6 to 8 inches long. It's from this ear to this ear. Between here is my problem. Between this ear and this ear is my problem. I create a world that's unreal. It is not real, and it is not of God. It's a world that came from separation from God. God is love.